Hey guys, it's Travis here, Tpull's Corner, and we are playing Travis Plays the Premades. Here's another new week and another new deck, but it is a premade deck that you should have in your inventory. It's called Avalanche. It's made by Wizards of the Coast, put together for us to play around with, and we're just going to go through the deck today, and then the rest of the week we'll have a match a day, maybe 2 matches depending on how things go. Just to go through the strengths and the weaknesses of the deck, and then at the end of the week we'll cover the deck tech on how well it performed and what we might do to mix things up. But the overview is 21 creatures, 26 lands, 1 Ascendant Spirit. This is one where you need to have snow-covered lands in order to increase its stats. So it changes from a 1/1 to a 2/3 Spirit Warrior. Then you pump it up for 3. You can't take it straight from the Spirit to the Flying Warrior Angel with 3. You have to do it in stages. So you have to spend the 2 first to change it into the 2/3. Then you spend 3, which you can do in the same turn if you have all of the mana. Once it's the Spirit Warrior, then you can put a flying counter on it and becomes a Spirit Warrior Angel with base power and toughness 4/4. Then anytime after that, since it's an angel, you can spend 4 and then put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Now, keep in mind the difference is when it becomes a Spirit Warrior in the very beginning, those aren't +1/+1 counters. It transforms from a 1/1 into a 2/3. Okay, the counters come with a flying counter on the third one, and then on the second time you pump it up with 4, you start getting the +1/+1 counters on it. So that's when the counters take place. 3 bubble snares just to incapacitate whatever's trying to attack us. If they don't tap, we can make them tap with the kicker cost. 2 blizzard brawls, which might be too few, but this is a pretty standard staple from Call Time. You choose target creature you control, target creature you don't control, and they fight. And as long as we have 3 snowlands down, our creature gains indestructible, and it gets +1. Avalanche Caller. You spend 2, and you can take a snowland you control. It becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with hexproof and haste until end of turn. So if your opponent doesn't have a lot of creatures out and you've got mana to spare, this can be a game winner just by itself if you get it out early enough and it's not removed. Emergent Sequence. Search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. It becomes a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature that's still a land. You don't usually want to do this spell when you don't have any other land spells to put out. At the very least, you want to have a land in your hand so that you can put it out and then cast the spell, and that way you get a 2/2 creature instead of, if you just cast this by itself, it's going to be a 1/1 creature. So keep that in mind. There are other spells that allow you to put lands out extra, so you can maybe get this up to a 3/3 or 4/4 depending on what stage you're at when you put it out. I see most people using it at the very beginning and making it a 2/2. Lotus Cobra from Zendikar. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, you get to add 1 mana of any color. So we've got blue and green in here, so it'll be blue or green that you're usually looking to get. 3 Sculptor of Winters. You can tap this card and untap any extra snowland, so you can get an extra mana early. It's a little bit of ramp kind of thing. Zimone Quandrix Prodigy. You have 2 of these legendary creatures. Tap for 1 and you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Or you can spend 4 and draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands on the battlefield, you get to draw 2 cards instead of 1. Vortex Runner, a 2/3 human wizard. If you control 8 or more lands, Vortex Runner gets +1 and can't be blocked. So there's a couple of things here. Control 8 lands, control 8 lands. They're figuring that the control aspect of blue might make this into a mid-range deck, and you're going to last until you get 8 lands, right? So either your deck's going to really hit it off, you're going to win before 8 turns, or you're going to survive long enough to have some of these other things kick in and really help turn the tide of the battle. 1 copy of Quandrix Command. There's 4 choices here. You get to choose 2 of them at instant level speed. I'm usually returning a target creature planeswalker to its owner hand and putting 2 +1/+1 counters on my target creature. You can counter target or artifact or enchantment spell. You can also have either you or your opponent shuffle up to 3 target cards from the graveyard into their library. 3 Spirit of the Aldegards. When you enter into the battlefield, they get to look for a snowland card and put it into your hand. They get +1 for every other snow permanent you control. That means more than just lands. but that their health never changes from 4, but their strength can increase. 2 copies of Eureka Moment. Draw 2 cards, and you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Quandrix Cultivator. When he enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a basic forest or island card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. 3 Berg Striders for 4/4. When they enter the battlefield, you tap a target artifact or creature an opponent controls. If you use Snow to cast a spell, the permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap phase. We have Graven Lore, Snow instant. You scry for X, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell. You draw 3 cards. So if you spend all 5 mana to be snow mana, you get to scry for 5, still draw 3. Ashaya, this is one of the most awesome cards from Zendikar. The power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control, but then non-token creatures you control are also forest lands in addition to the types. This can wreck an opposing deck if they have removal spells that always say target non-land creature, because suddenly all of your creatures are lands. So they need to have something that says like destroy target permanent or destroy creature instead of something that specifically says non-land creature. If it says non-land creature and a Shai's out, they're in trouble. The expensive card, Snow Day, 2 copies of that. Tap up to 2 target creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Then you get to also draw 2 cards and discard a card. Bookworm, I like this one. 7/7 Trampler. You get to gain 3 life and draw a card when he enters the battlefield. Plus, if he's dead, you can put him from your graveyard back into the library 3rd from the top. How do you like that? And another kind of recyclable creature. For 12 mana, you can bring down Icebreaker Kraken. He's 8/8. But it costs 1 less for each snow land you control. So if you have 6 snow lands on the battlefield untapped, you can bring them down for only 6. Bring an 8/8 creature down for 6. When he enters, all the artifacts and creatures target opponent controls don't untap during that player's next untap step. Also, anytime without spending any mana, you can just return 3 snow lands you control to your hand, or to the owner's hand, if you've somehow gotten your opponent's snow lands, and you return Icebreaker Kraken to its owner's hand. That's the deck. We're going to take it out for a spin for this week and see how it goes. Stay with us. Remember to like and subscribe, and away we go.